Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm talking everything about Ridgebacks. So in the beginning, I'm going to be doing a little bit about each of my Ridgebacks, like individually, like their backstory and everything like that. And then I'll also be talking about some common questions. I'll be answering some common questions that people have about Ridgebacks. So if you're interested in seeing more about my doggies right here, please stay tuned because we're just gonna jump right in. Okay, so I don't want to make this video too long, but I do have a lot of information, like things to talk about with my dogs, especially since I have two. So I guess I'll talk about Tucker first, since he was the one that had the stitches and the cone and everything. So as you can see, he got his stitches off and the cone's off, so he's healing up really nicely. He's got a little shaved patch here. For those of you that didn't watch my last video where I talked about how he got injured, him and his brother were, I think they were playing outside, and then the doctors think that Tanner's eye tooth or canine tooth got stuck in Tucker's skin on his head and ripped a huge gash in it, and he had to go to the emergency vet and get sedated, shaved his head, and then they stitched him up. So yeah, that is, I think Tucker hears something outside. So that's the backstory on what happened with Tucker recently. But Tucker we had since he was about, I think, they told us he was 9 months old. He was probably around there. They don't know for sure, like exactly how old he was, but he was a rescue, and they think his previous owners were pretty cruel to him, which is really upsetting. It's a really upsetting story actually, because you could just tell, like by the way that he was, that he just had a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues with humans, and he still does to this day, but he's made a lot of progress, so that's really nice. So they think they found him on the side of the road in a cage. Like he couldn't even get out and like they didn't leave him with a fighting chance, really. Like somebody had to rescue him and like let him out of the cage. They said he was pretty malnourished. They said it was clear that he had been pretty badly abused, and so there were certain things, even to this day, he has a hard time with, like going through the threshold of our front door. I think he wasn't allowed inside with his previous owners, so he has a really hard time with coming in and out of the house. So that was one of the big ones. And then feeding time, he's very skittish during feeding time. I think it's because we were told that he was probably in a household where they were using him as a hunting dog. And I know like not everyone is cruel to their hunting dogs, but this was what the Humane Society kind of like told us the backstory was. Probably, I guess they think that he was they tend to abuse them during the times that they get fed, so that they become a little bit more aggressive when they're like helping the hunters hunt. So I don't really know, but I guess Tucker wasn't aggressive enough, which is actually kind of a good thing because they decided not to keep him. So yeah, there's just a few things like that. Like it's mainly the and anytime I would be carrying like a broomstick or like the Swiffer or anything like a long object, he was probably abused with that because he's super afraid of like long skinny objects. So you have to be really careful around him. He's still a little bit skittish, but he's made some really great improvements. I think a lot of it is because of this guy here. They told us that because of Tucker's background, that the ideal family would be one where there was another dog in the family that really brought out Tucker's confidence. So they definitely had us come in and bring Tanner to see how they would interact with each other, and they kind of just hit it off right off the bat, and it was just it was kind of like love at first sight. Guys, it was so cute. I'm gonna try and include some videos of them playing and everything, and like pictures of them like sleeping together. They really bonded, and it's just, they're so lucky to have each other. So yeah, I think that was a really big reason why Tucker healed from his previous experience so quickly. I mean, don't get me wrong, it did take a lot of time, because I think they're both about 6 years old, so it's been a while, but it was a really big, like, his body language and everything. Like, when we first adopted him, he wouldn't look you in the eye, he would always be looking down at the floor. The way he would like sit, it was just like he was so just a like defeated animal. Like, it was so sad to see. I actually thought that maybe they broke his tail, like physically broke it, because like it never moved. He never wagged his tail. And I think about like 6 months in to us having him, I finally saw his tail like starting to wag a little bit. But yeah, that's how bad and like how big his anxiety was, and he's definitely gotten a lot better. He actually just went to the vet, obviously, to get the stitches removed, and the vet was saying like, wow, you know, I can't believe that Tucker's really grown up, and it's just been really positive. So that's been really great. Tanner, on the other hand, this guy whose face you can't see, just his body, Tanner is, we had him since he was a puppy. So he's a little bit, his anxiety levels are a little bit different. He's definitely more of a, like a rascal guy. This is our shy guy. I should mention, Tucker is super smart. Like, I know everyone thinks that their dogs are smart, but Tucker has figured out so many things that like, he knows how to close or open our doors. Like, we have the kind of door handles, like the handicap door handles. They're not knobs where you have to like push your fingers around and turn. You can like, you know, they're like levers. So he can open our doors. Like, he's learned how to come up. He puts his paws on top of each other like this, and then he like pushes the door like to open it. If the door is opening, or if it's coming like inward though, he has a hard time with that. But he can definitely open the door if it's going outward, like away from him. And all he has to do is like use his weight to push it open. So yeah, Tucker's very smart. He's figured out a lot of things without training. So it's kind of sad that it's hard to train him because of the food issue. Like, if anyone has any tips about that, that would be great, because I do want to train him, but it's just that with food, he's so skittish. It's really hard to train him using like treats and stuff. But anyway, so Tanner's story is that we had him since he was a puppy. We had gotten him from we got him from a pet store, just like randomly. We didn't even really like look up anything about Ridgebacks, which sounds really irresponsible. But he was just like the cutest little thing. He was only like 6 weeks old. He could literally fit in the palm of my hand, and he was just the cutest little thing ever. Oh my god. I think so. We were looking at him and his sister, and I was telling my husband, well, he wasn't my husband back then, but I was telling my husband that I think we should get the girl dog, because she'll probably be smaller, and I'm not used to having big dogs. Like, these are the first like big large breeds that I've had. And he was like, no, let's take a look at this one again. He was talking about Tanner, and then Tanner got the hiccups, and it was just the cutest thing ever, and I just totally fell in love with him, and we decided to take him home. And he I don't know what else to say about Tanner. He loves water. I'll try to include a video of him like during bath time. He loves to take a bath. There's just a lot of, I know that people say like adopt, don't shop, but there's just a lot of things that I've just noticed from having a puppy. It's like he knows I'm talking about him right now. You know, when we first had him as a puppy, my vet was telling me, like, make sure you clip his nails, make sure you get into the routine of brushing his teeth, all those things that, you know, okay. So, you know, I did all of those things with him early on so that he would pretty much try to, you know, he still doesn't like to brush his teeth or clip his nails, but bath time is definitely something that he finds fun, and he loves to play in the water, and yeah, he just has a blast. They both love going to the beach. I'll try to insert a video of them at the beach. And yeah, they both love car rides. They love car rides. I'm surprised they're not even going crazy by me saying the word right now. But yeah, it's just, I mean, Tanner's backstory is a little bit simpler because, you know, we had him since he was a puppy, and he's just, as you can see, a very playful and lovable guy. And this is how the injury happened. They were playing, and they play rough. They play rough. But let me just kind of answer some of the common questions about Ridgebacks, and they are Ridgeback mixes, I should mention. So this guy, we don't know exactly what he is, obviously, because he was adopted, but he is a Ridgeback Hound mix, I believe. They're so big. And then Tanner, this guy, is, God, when we adopted him, or when we purchased him, he came with like a whole paper of like the breeds that but he's mostly pit bull. So he's Ridgeback, pit bull, American bulldog, and a little bit of hound, I think. But you can see it in his face that he's mostly, like, he's got a lot of the pit bull type of, the shape of his head, and even like the white patch going down his chest and everything. So he kind of has like a pit bull look. Okay, sit down. Good. So yeah, this is Tanner right here. Alright, so let's answer some questions about Ridgebacks. I just did like a quick Google. Hey guys, settle down. Sit down. Lay down. Good boys. So I just did a quick Google search on like commonly asked questions about Ridgebacks, and obviously like I've only had these two guys, so I'm gonna answer them based off of what they're like, and I can tell you right now, like, they're two completely different dogs. They're similar. They're similar, but then they're opposites. So let's just take a look at some of these questions. First question is, how is the Ridgeback around children, other pets, and as a watchdog? So I have a stepson, but I don't know about like children, because my stepson's gonna be 16 soon, so it's hard for me to answer that question, like especially around babies and stuff, because I know that that's like a really big concern for people. So unfortunately, I'm not able to answer that. But around other pets, obviously, like, they're fine together, except for that one like fight that they got into where Tucker needed stitches. But that's the only instance where something like that has happened in the 6 years or 5 years, I guess, that they've been together. And as a watchdog, so as a watchdog, Tanner's definitely more vocal when he hears people out, like walking outside. But Tucker, I think, because of his background, he's more inclined to bite someone. So that's a little bit scary in the sense that like you could get sued. So Tucker's a little bit of a wild card. I don't know, just because of like what happened to him, I don't know what to expect with him. With Tanner, he'll bark, but I definitely don't think he'll bite, whereas Tucker is very possible. Okay, so next question. Are they noisy? Do they have any bad habits? So, I mean, Tanner definitely had some separation anxiety issues when we first left him. He would bark a lot and stuff, and our next door neighbor was complaining. But in terms of like, so I used to have a husky corgi mix, which I don't know if you can even like imagine that. Basically, he had the body of a corgi, so like a longer body with shorter legs, and he was about 30 pounds, and he had the markings of a husky. So huskies are notorious for being very loud and vocal. He was definitely more vocal than the two of them. Like, they're not like vocal like huskies are at all, but they will bark, and they will, you know, I think they're pretty, like, to me they just seem like an average noise level. It's not anything over the top, but they're not like super quiet either. let's see. Next question. Is the Ridgeback a good house dog? I think they are. I mean, I don't know if you would want to get them if you had an apartment. Maybe if you were to she just like Tucker's butt in the camera. Maybe if you were able to take them out a lot, I would say that would be okay, but they're fine indoors. I mean, I think in the beginning we left them outside a lot because we were afraid of them tearing up the furniture when we went to work, but then during COVID we worked from home, so we would let them stay inside with us. They basically would stay outside a lot when they were puppies because they would just tear things up. I think that's more like lack of training than anything. I don't know about the breed. So next question. Are there any special feeding problems? Again, I feel like I mean, I don't know about like purebred Rhodesian Ridgebacks because I think purebreds tend to have more like special needs for like special diets and things like that. Both of these guys are mutts, so they seem to be okay. Like knock on wood, they don't really have any allergies, I don't think. They're pretty good. Like they don't have any skin like itchiness or, you know, they're like rashes and stuff. They're pretty good. So I think one time we had switched Tanner to like a more like fish-based diet, and that upset his stomach, but I don't even know if that's more of a Tanner problem or a Ridgeback problem. How much exercise does the Ridgeback need? So this one, if you guys don't know, Ridgebacks were originally bred in Africa, I want to say, as they used to help hunt lions. So that's crazy, right? Like these dogs were used to hunt lions. So yes, they need a lot of exercise. What's the matter, baby? So they do need a lot of exercise. And they're very active. I know that when you see them in my videos, they're always sleeping, but they do go outside in our yard and play at least twice a day. So they're very active dogs, and you know, they would definitely benefit from going on bike rides, going to the beach, going on walks, things like that. But yeah, they do need a lot of exercise. Tucker, lay down, baby. So this is interesting. I just found something on Google, or it was on PetMD, and it's just saying like what problems do Ridgebacks have. I did not know this. Apparently their breed is known for elbow dysplasia, canine hip dysplasia, and hypothyroidism. Deafness and dermoid sinus are also, I'm not sure what that last one is, but that's also occasionally seen in the breed as well. So that's interesting. I did not know that. I know that my other dog had hip dysplasia, so that's kind of, it sucks because they have a hard time walking in the end. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, like specific questions about my dogs, I mean, obviously I'm not like a Ridgeback breeder or anything like that, so I don't know too much about like the breed in general. I can just tell you like questions or answer any questions about my dogs specifically. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!